2008 ACC Football Player of the Year, a Georgia Tech legend, a Hall of Famer, a Pittsburgh Steeler, a husband, a father, a coach. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Jonathan Dwyer.
We all sat down together and was like, hey, we're just going to give this thing a chance. If it, snow falls, we're out of here.
Because I remember watching that first spring game. I mean, man, you guys were fumbling the balls. Like, what is going on here? Like,
spring was a disaster, bro. Like, spring was terrible. Our defensive line was an NFL defensive line.
I think a lot of people see a lot of similarities in Brent Key and Paul Johnson. I'm curious if you see the same.
I think Brent is like a no-nonsense type of guy. Paul was a no-nonsense type of guy. As soon as Jahmyr walked in the door, we knew that, like, we first saw him play. Like, oh, he's going to the NFL. Like, it's not even a question. Because Atlanta's a fun place when we're winning. If you're winning in Atlanta, dude, it's up. It's a vibe.
That 08 year, I know you guys tied for the Coastal. I think y'all would have beaten the hell out of Boston College the second time you would have played them.
Yes. Like, we were tearing people up offensively. Like, we would go into games and be like, I would tell Burnett, like, bro, just give us 3 stops.
Jolly Goodfellows is back for a very special episode. We want to thank you all for listening, watching, viewing, subscribing, all that good stuff. Our last episode was the best one yet, and I think that we probably got a better one for you guys today, as you guys can see on the screen. A very special guest. I'm joined as always by Patrick, but let's just go ahead and address the man that you guys are seeing on the screen, a Georgia high school legend, 2008 ACC Football Player of the Year, a Georgia Tech legend, a Hall of Famer, a Pittsburgh Steeler, a husband, a father, a coach. And a huge reason why my favorite number is number 21. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Jonathan Dwyer. Thank you so much for hopping on, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, of course. Patrick, how are you doing? How's everything been in your world?
I'm doing great, guys. Excited to talk to JD. I mean, talk about a guy that did a lot at Tech, won a lot of big games, ACC title, all ACC. And it's kind of funny we're bringing him back in. About a week ago, we had a first ACC Player of the Year since Jonathan Dwyer in 08, so I think it's kind of good timing having him on.
100%. Yeah, I saw your tweet saying welcome Haynes to the club. That was pretty cool. Are you guys talk at all?
I've met him a few times. I don't really, a lot of these young cats, I really don't. I talk to him whenever I see him. I mean, I don't really try to like overdo it. I open the door. If they take it, they take it. If they don't, it's all good. All
For
good,
sure.
all that.
I mean, just on that note, you got a relationship with a lot of up and coming players just due to your role at Kell High School, running back coach, run game coordinator, and then alumni liaison, right, for Kell, still currently. So that's pretty cool. And I mean, you've been there now for like 6 or 7 years, right? So you've got
this is like
a bit of experience.
Yeah, last year was like my first like full like 4-year guys. Like when I first started, they were freshmen, and this year's like this past season was the first year with Coach May and that regime of brand new staff and all that.
For sure. What's that been like for you? Just how has it been to be able to use your, on the field experience and just pour back into the youth and the up and comers now? How has that been for you?
I mean, I feel like that's what my, sort of what my testimony is to give back. I mean, I love the kids. I love interacting with them. I love coaching. I love, just being around, still a part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't miss playing football. I don't miss getting hit. I don't miss any of that shit. But, I miss just like the camaraderie and what that is. That's pretty much what most guys misses anyway, just the camaraderie. So coaching is pretty much putting that Band-Aid on it of what I miss about ball.
For sure. So the door's closed on ever coming back as a player, but how far do you want to take the coaching thing? I'm assuming Kell's a powerhouse program in the state of Georgia. I know you're probably pretty happy there, and that's where it all started for you. Is that a place where you see yourself being for a long time, or?
I would say for right now, if big opportunities come that I just can't pass up on, it is what it is. I got to take it. But for right now, it's the place I want to be. My kids are about to be in high school, my oldest ones. So, I want to be a part of their journey and be involved as much as I can. So, I'll probably be there for a little while. And then, if things happen. But probably once they all graduate, I would like to definitely go into the college ranks.
For sure. Yeah. Sometimes things can move pretty quick. I feel like, especially these days. And let's talk about that, because that's been something that's been happening around Georgia Tech a lot recently. And, we said it before the show off the air, but I'll say it now if you guys are just now tuning in. Really not going to go necessarily down memory lane for JD. We were all very familiar with what this guy did on the flats. Really wanting to more so talk to him today about his thoughts on what's going on right now and get a unique perspective from someone who's been through it and someone who in a lot of ways is still involved, with the program. So again, there's a lot of things happening and changing at Tech right now. And that was kind of the case for you too, right? You commit, and when you sign, Chan Gailey's the head coach. Shortly
Yep.
thereafter, it's Paul. So what was that like for you as a player, committing and signing to one coach, and the next thing you know, you're playing for another?
I think what fans and athletes need to understand is that coaching change happens in two different ways. When you're doing really, really good, you're freaking terrible. We weren't terrible my freshman year, but we didn't win the games that we were supposed to win. Obviously, the icing on the cake was losing to Georgia against an inexperienced Georgia. I mean, they were a good team, I would say. I think they went to the Sugar Bowl that year. And then when you do really, really well, coaches get opportunities. I mean, when you have the number one total offense in college football, someone's going to get a call, whether you like it or not. And, from Buster's standpoint, Buster's a guy who probably wants to be a head coach at some point. This was his first real gig of being OC. He was successful. Now, can he do it in a bigger environment? I mean, whether we want to disagree or, but SEC is the SEC, and that's just what it is. And if he gets the opportunity and he does really well there, he's probably going to be a head coach in a year or two.
For sure.
I mean, I don't think it was really about money. I think it was more so about opportunity. And, sometimes you can't pass up on certain things.
That's interesting coming from you because you were committed to Florida at one point, right?
Yep.
So you end up the opposite way.
Yeah. You went the way that we would prefer it happen more often than it seems to be happening these days. But I just want to know your perspective. When you were a player and that coaching change was going down from Chan to Paul, what was going through your head at that time, and what inspired you? Obviously, it was a different environment. Folks weren't transferring every year at that point. But what made you want to stay at Tech throughout that change?
Just give it a chance. I'll be honest. Like, it was that, and then like the guys, like my 07 class was a special class, and we're friends to this day. Like, we've been at each other's weddings and special events and things like that. So it was like, we all sat down together and was like, hey, we're gonna give this thing a chance. If it snow falls, we're out of here. And luckily enough, like, we did so well. It was like. And we got so close to winning the ACC. It was like, man, we got to run it back again. So that's pretty much what it really came down to. And then obviously I had a great year. So it's like, what's the point of me leaving if I have a great year? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
stock's rising.
It's pretty much one of those situations. But honestly, if things didn't go well, I was out of there. I was going to really be honest with you guys.
How quickly did you realize, like, going in, like, hey, we're going to be pretty good? Because I remember watching that first spring game. I mean, man, you guys were fumbling the balls. Like, what is going on here? Like, I did not think it was going to go well. And then, I go up to Boston College, your kind of first breakout game under Paul, and you go for that game-sealing touchdown. When did you realize you guys were going to be pretty good and you could sort of have a run that you did?
My camp, spring was a disaster, bro. Like, spring was terrible. Like, getting hit, like, I remember one time, like, Derek Morgan smacked me. They didn't have the ball. Smacked the hell out of me. I was like, this shit is terrible. I can't do this. And then, like, the spring game went so bad. Everybody's kind of looking at each other like, what are we going to do? And then, we had a really good defense. And that's what it came down to breaking down to. Like, our defensive line was an NFL defensive line. Like, we had 4 NFL players on the defensive line. A future first round pick, Derek and Michael Johnson and Vance Walker and D Rich, like, we had dudes. So, like, we had to make the adjustment. And once we figured that out in camp, like, we started gashing our own defense in camp. We're like, oh, we're going to be fine. So that's pretty much when it came down to, like, camp and then just executing. I mean, guys had to, like, change. Like, I haven't been in 3-point since I was 10. So, like, going from standing next to the quarterback in the shotgun or standing 7 yards deep to doing that, like, and sped the game up so much faster. So once the game started slowing down, once we figured out what we were doing, and Nesbitt, me and him got our, connection and did what we needed to do. Once we figured that out, we knew we were going to be all right.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great testimony, great insight there. And I'm going to fast forward a little bit. This was a question that I had later, but something that you just said there just kind of reminded me. You did an interview earlier this year with Alex from Jackets Online. And in that interview, first of all, I want to give you credit because you predicted a 9-win season. And, here we are, 9 wins later, looking at a 10th in the bowl game, but we'll give you credit for the 9 regular season wins. But, you were kind of just speaking on the fact that a lot of you guys met and said, all right, we're going to try this. We're all here already. If it works out, it works out. If not, we're out. One thing you said in that interview with Alex was that you guys had a we rather than me mentality. And you understood that, if you all bought in, great things could happen. Do you feel like that is something that's lost on college players nowadays? What would you say to folks who are, players and recruits who are going through these changes now and considering, should I do this for myself or should I look more so at the team?
I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like some situations you do have to look at yourself. Like you have to realize, like, is this a fit for me? And then there's situations where it is about the team and, just let me just buy into the system. Let me just put my pride aside, just like really put myself all into it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I think a lot of kids are scared of competition. I think a lot of kids are not as tough mentally as they should be. I think a lot of kids also, the mental makeup. I think that, like physically, a lot of these kids are way better than what we were back in the day. I think the more so nowadays, the problem is mental toughness and like dealing with adversity. Like, but that's just the world itself. It's not just athletes. Kids nowadays don't go through what we went through growing up, and like but it's also to the parents. Like our parents used to be like toughen it out or to talk to us and figure it out. But now it's like, hey, let me get him out of there because he's going through something, or she's going through something. So I think that's what it all comes down to.
That's interesting to hear because I feel like a lot of people look at you guys, y'all's team 08, 09, especially those teams, and be like, ain't too many people tougher than those cats.
Yeah.
So that's definitely interesting to hear. But let's rewind a little bit. We were talking about Paul, and I think a lot of people see a lot of similarities in Brent Key and Paul Johnson. I'm curious if you see the same, and if so, what kind of are some things that stick out to you just about Brent and how he relates to Paul Johnson?
I think Brent is like a no nonsense type of guy. Paul was a no nonsense type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Want to run the ball, want to be physical, that type of thing coexist. But I think the main thing is just like, finding a way to get us ready to play. Like Paul would just use like these mind games for us, and we would just fall for it. And obviously, we felt like it was definitely like us against the world. But at some point, like we were the best team, one of the best teams in the country. He still would still find a way to like keep our heads level, keep us from a standpoint of just like, we're not good enough, that type of thing. And it would piss us off, and we would just go out and try to kill people. I think that's very similar in their way for sure. Like Brent's a no-nonsense type of guy, and he's very hard on you, but when he loves you, he loves you. So I think that's where they coexist for sure.
You think that Paul Johnson would be able to really survive as a coach now? I mean, I don't know if he would be able to really thrive in that. Like, you think that he's an animal of the past?
Nah, he. If you can't, I mean, I expect my ways. I'm okay with it. I'm okay that it's changing, but I don't have to. He just got out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of wondering too if like he saw it coming. A lot of people speculate that these things were happening behind the scenes already. Before Paul retired, but I'm wondering if he kind of knew that it was coming. But that was a quick answer, though. I think most people would agree that he didn't know. He didn't.
Yeah, I saw you get some ass chewings when he was going to the sideline. Now, I mean, like pull your face mask down too. And I don't know how well people would deal with that in this day and age of Paul grabbing the face mask.
Now, I can say I've never got one of those before, like face mask grab. No, like we've had like
I saw him do it. He definitely got a couple people, right?
He got a couple people, and but like that's like I said, that's a different day and age. Like, I mean, you still see it in certain coaches. Like Kirby does it. Like Kirby's on a mic, and like some of the stuff that I've heard him say at practices is wild. But like I said, it depends on if that place is for you, if that's what you can deal with. Me, growing up, like my dad was very tough on me. He demanded a lot from me. So like I was okay with a coach that yelled at me, and if he cursed at me, it is what it is. Like I realized that at an early age, like if a coach is yelling at you and on you, that means he cares. If he doesn't talk to you, that's when you need to worry about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there was a period in recent history for Tech where it did feel like things were getting a little bit soft. Obviously now that's not that's not the case anymore. But I was covering Tech at the time. I remember seeing you at some of those practices. So I'm not going to ask you to draw any comparisons between Brent and the former regime. But I'm just curious too. Rather than looking at it from a comparison standpoint, just what are your thoughts overall on Brent Key and everything that he's done with the program so far?
I like Brent. I mean, obviously, you know where he's coming from. He's coming from a Georgia Leary mentality and that Nick Saban mentality. So you already know what you're going to get. Demanding, hard nosed. Obviously, he's adjusting to the new day and age. At the same time, like, he demands effort. He demands, accountability, and he's going to challenge you each and every day. So I don't mind his mindset, his, how he runs practices or anything. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, for sure. And just, the results on the field, it seems like they're getting closer and closer being back to, the dominance that you guys
Yeah,
have.
I think it's just, we need some more time. Like, people were getting on Blake Gideon this past year, but like, he got here in like June. So like, he doesn't have his real guys to fit his system yet. Like, he's thrown in there with a situation where we don't really have a pass rusher. Maybe that's what's to look like his defense is about. If you can rush the passer, he can figure out everything in the back end. But so that's what he's pretty much. We got to be patient on all that good stuff.
And I think a lot of people talk about your team, that '09 team, having a 1 through 7 guys that were like, hey, like those are studs, NFL guys. And I feel like that this past team, you had like Haynes King, and you probably had a couple like Isaiah Canyon, but you were missing a couple of those other 1 through 7 guys. Like you guys had Derek Morgan, had yourself, Nesbitt, even Anthony Allen as an A-back. I mean, now he was another NFL running back you guys had, and then you had Bebe out in the perimeter. It was 1 through 7. Do you feel like that's sort of what's missing right now to be able to maybe get to ACC championship playoff level? Is that, what you guys had in those NFL guys?
Yeah, I mean, you need the NFL guys, like whether you want to believe it or not. But I mean, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that we had. Like, we had NFL guys and we had depth. Like, at the running back position, it was crazy. Like, we didn't have a lot of NFL guys, but we had some like really good college football players. Like, Roddy Jones is a really good college football player. Anthony Allen's an NFL guy. Myself, Luke Cox is an NFL guy.
I've heard that name in a while.
Then you have like Embry Peoples, who is a good high college football player. Oren Smith is he was a tweener in the NFL, but think about, like, Oren Smith was a freshman, and like he was getting carries. So like that's how deep
that backfield.
Yeah, and then we had Nesbitt, and then we had J-Bo behind Nesbitt, who was a proven guy who ended up having a great college career at Georgia Southern after he left. So and then we had Bebe and Stephen Hill, guys like that. So I mean, we were pretty loaded.
I guess Kevin Cohn, wasn't he on that team too?
Yeah, Kev. Like, Kev was like, I remember when Kev first got there, like who's this hell? This dude from Shorter. Dude from Shorter was coming. And then like I was like, then he was like mossing everybody. I was like, dude, why was he at Shorter?
That's too funny. So much depth, man. So much depth.
We played together in the league for a little bit too. So
that's awesome.
There's a couple of guys that are now both NFL running backs, starting NFL running backs that were at Georgia Tech not too long ago. Jahmyr Gibbs and Jordan Mason. That was part of that previous regime that we were talking about. But in that regime was a guy that I'm sure you were close with when you got to Tech, and who's now coaching for the Detroit Lions, Tashard Choice. Are you guys y'all still boys? How's that relationship like?
Yeah, that's my big brother, man. Like, we talk whenever we can. Like, he sends me info, like sends me clips of like individual stuff they do so I can use it with my guys.
That's awesome.
And things like that. I mean, but that's what it tests me. Jahmyr, like, as soon as Jahmyr walked in the door, we knew that, like, we first saw him play. Like, oh, he's going to the NFL. Like, it's not even a question. Like, Peasy, like, JP was like a guy who ran hard, who had good vision, and he had ability, but like he needed to be developed. And that goes to testament like to T Choice. Like, T Choice developed JP to be who he is now. And and many others. So like, and his track record speaks for itself. Like, T Choice is probably one of the best running back coaches in the league, young running back coaches in the league for sure.
Yeah, I think most Georgia Tech fans would love to see him back at Tech again in some capacity. You think that door is closed, or you think there's a chance?
I mean, you never say never. I mean, I think it would have to be the right opportunity for him. I know that he wants to be OC and eventually a head coach at some point.
Yeah.
So I don't think it really matters where the level of OC for him. I just think he would want the opportunity. But I mean, what he's doing now. I mean, he's with this guy, guy he recruited, and a guy who's about to get paid.
Oh yeah.
So you have that aspect of like, do I want to stay and see him get paid, or do I want to jump ship now? But I'm also in a situation where I can have one of the best. I'm coaching one of the best, top 5 best running backs in the country, in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, give or take.
Yeah. Do you think watching them both at Georgia Tech, I felt like everybody could see, even I don't want to say blind eyes, but even the untrained eye could see that Gibbs, like you were saying, the second he walks in the door, you're like, all right, there's something different about this dude. JP needed to be developed a little bit more, but what was it like for you watching those two? I mean, was it kind of, did you see glimpses of yourself in either of those guys?
I saw me and T Choice, man. Like that's how it was my freshman year, and like I knew that I could maybe make it, but Choice gave me the confidence that I knew I could make it. And he, when I got there, like we were assigned like these big brother type of things, and like he was assigned to me, and like he literally took that to the extreme. Even grabbing me and taking me places I didn't really want to go to, or having me do this and do that, and go here with him, and like just putting him under my wing, me under his wing, and just like I just rode with it. Like everything that he did, I tried to emulate. Like when I got in the game, like he would be like, "Hey, you better do what you're supposed to do," or this, that. Like, he was very tough on me, and I appreciate this when he left. So, and I did the same thing with the young guys that was under me.
Yeah, he's one of those how you do anything is how you do everything kind of guys.
Yeah.
Clearly that's the case too. If he was, treating the mentor role like that. Before we get off Choice, Patrick, do you have anything else you wanted to say on that?
No, it was fun watching you. I knew you were going to be pretty special watching you. I guess there was a couple of games when Choice got hurt his senior year. It was against Boston College and Virginia. I mean, I just know if we would have had both you guys in that game, we'd probably win that Virginia game up there.
Yeah, they had. He's got a game against our Steelers this Sunday, so obviously rooting for the running backs in that game, but hopefully Pittsburgh still find a way.
Yeah, appreciate you reminding me. Now I can go, rub elbows and talk trash a little bit to him before.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's 4:25 on Sunday, so always rooting for those two. But of course, hoping that Pittsburgh comes out with the W.
Yeah, for sure.
We won't touch too much on the NFL time, as this is a Georgia Tech show. But I do want to talk just about the current state of college football and get your thoughts on that. We kind of touched on it earlier, how things are changing so much. But you touched on it earlier. A big part of why you came was because y'all had such a great class in 07. And that was arguably to this day one of the best classes that Georgia Tech has ever had. I think it was, what was it, like 4 of the top 10 in the state, a top 15 class.
That was loaded.
Yeah, overall. In fact, it's so funny. I just saw On3 tweet out a picture of the top 10 guys in the state and where they're all going, and I didn't see the Georgia Tech logo on there. That needs to change, but that's a whole different story. But how just looking at the landscape now and, being a high school coach, you see a lot of what these guys are going through and what the coaches now are saying versus what they were saying when you were going through it. What are just your thoughts on the landscape overall?
I think it's honestly like it's pretty, like it has some goods and it has its bads. Like I think kids should be paid. I think the guys deserve, their credibility and to be able to make a living or jumpstart their life just in case football doesn't work out. I think that the landscape of college football, how big it is and how huge it is at its height, and I hope it's going to continue to grow. But I think there's some negative things like the transfer portal is it has its goods and has its bads. Like if you're in a situation where you need to leave, obviously, and you get to hurry up and play, that's great. But if you're like running away from competition, or you're running away because you're soft, or you're running away because like you get coached hard and all that, like that's a whole different ballgame. And then you run away because you want more money. Like for me, I think it's bigger. The guys who make more money are the guys who are G5 kids or the FCS kids, and they outplay where they are, and now they can go to a P4 and get paid. I think that's beneficial. Or if you're at something just happens and like you're not getting the playing time you need because you have a lot of depth in front of you, and it's like there's no way you're going to play until your senior year. And obviously, yes, you should leave. But like if you're a guy and you're a freshman and things aren't going your way the first year you're there, you jump ship, what are we talking about?
Not going to get developed. I mean, how are you going to be able to go build and stay in the same system?
But then it's also too like at the same time, like college coaches got to coach. Like you can't just think like some guy comes from the portal and like, oh, like I don't have to. I just trust his portal kid instead of his high school kid. Where if you just coach and develop him, he might be pretty good. and you're actually saving more money because you're not worrying about a kid that's from somewhere else, and you got have a kid as a freshman, whatever. So I think that's probably what the biggest problems is. Some coaches aren't coaching, and some kids are running away from competition.
Yeah, JP's a good example of that. You were talking about that earlier. Took a little development, but think about what happens if he would have decided to go to, what probably at the time would have been a smaller school than Georgia Tech. It could have been interesting. Obviously, stayed loyal, and we see that it's paying off now. We got to throw a hypothetical out there, and this could get you in trouble. I'm not even gonna lie, but you talk about the big amounts of money being thrown around nowadays, and you had some really big players in your recruitment, like Ohio State, obviously, like Florida. I think Alabama was trying to flip you at the last minute. So again, hypothetically speaking, if it was today's day and age and they're offering who knows what kind of money for your services at that point, do you think that could have changed anything about your recruitment?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think that
This
I
is
think
level money. Say level
I
money.
think it's like it's different, like from a standpoint of like, yes, you go for the money. Like I tell the kids right now, like, yes, you go for the money, but like you gotta like where you're going. Like, don't go for just the money. Because like you could be at a place where the money's good, but the place is shit. And like you're not in a good place. And it's a toxic environment and you don't like the environment. And like you gotta go for the school and you gotta go for the head coach. Like you really can't go for the assistants either because it's like that. They're gone too. So like I think nowadays, for me, I think I would have been all right. I think I probably still would have went to Tech because like I said, the guys that I was with was just like they were fun to play with, and like I wanted to do something that's never been done before, and that was to go to Tech and win an ACC title and bring all the stuff to Atlanta because Atlanta's a fun place when we're winning. I tell every recruit ever, if you're winning in Atlanta, dude, it's up. It's a vibe, and so I think that's probably the one thing that kept all of us of going to Tech was just wanting to play with each other.
Speaking of hypotheticals, that '08 year, I know you guys tied for the Coastal. I think y'all would have beaten the hell out of Boston College the second time you would have played them.
Yes.
I think after that Georgia game, I think if you guys would have played them again, I think y'all would have just smoked them.
I think like what's weird about that '08 season, '09 season, '08 season, the offense was mid. Like we were good, but like we were okay. Our defense was like really freaking good. And then the next year, our defense was not good, and our offense was just like we were tearing people up offensively. Like we would go into games and be like, I would tell Burnett, like, bro, just give us 3 stops. Just 3 stops. 3 stops. They can't like as soon as we got the first drive, hey bro, just give us 3 stops. And we're gonna win this game. Don't worry about all that. Just play. Y'all make plays when y'all can't move. Just give us 3 stops.
I guess they succeeded in doing that a lot of the time. I mean,
yeah.
So if you had that '08 defensive line and '09, you think
if we had the
undefeated?
'08 defense and '09 offense, we could have competed for a natty. Like it's not even a conversation.
Well, I mean, I think you could say that if that team was around nowadays, y'all would be competing for a national championship. Obviously,
Yes.
the ACC championship outside of Duke, usually the winner of that gets you an auto bid into the CFP, and I agree that team certainly would have been right there in the mix. There's a couple questions that are sort of just kind of evergreen questions, not so much on the topics that we've been talking about so far, but some things I want to touch on just so some people can learn a little bit more about JD. And one of those is your NFL career in Pittsburgh in particular. Did you have a moment like early on that was like your welcome to the NFL moment?
I get this question every now and then, but so when I walked in the locker room, just because Pittsburgh is such a like majestic spiritual place, like
Yeah.
and like you feel like this like the spirits of like Joe Green and Terry, like you feel like that all that like when you walk in the building, you're like, oh my gosh, like the first thing you see is like these 6 Super Bowls just like chilling right there. And you're like, dang, like that's what it's about. Like it's not like there's no like we're trying to just win games, like we're trying to win the 7th one.
Yeah.
And
came close.
And then like you go in the locker room and like during that time, like our defense was like probably the most scariest defense in probably pro football history. Like you see Troy's locker, you see James Ferrier's locker, you see Casey Hampton's locker, you see Ike Taylor's and Ryan Clark's, and that's the first person I ate lunch with was Ryan Clark, and all that stuff. And then you see him, we go out in practice, and you see these guys like run around. It's like dude, like these guys are good. And like you see Troy, and like Troy's stories are, you know, you hear a lot of different stuff. Like Troy didn't practice hard. Like I'll be honest with you guys, like Troy literally
Maybe
walk
lucky for you.
around, like jog around, but like then he would do something like some magic potion stuff where like he'd be in the A gap, and as soon as the ball snaps, he's in deep third. Like I was like, dude, how the hell he get there so fast? So like you see things like that, and it's just like, and then Mike T and Mr. Rooney's and all that. So like it's a special place.
Yeah. So really, just walking into the locker room in Pittsburgh
Yeah.
was the welcome to the NFL moment.
Yes, for sure. Like it's
There's
not
really not a
even
lot of
close.
franchises I feel like you can say that about either. You know, obviously each franchise has their own tradition, history, and all that, but Pittsburgh's different, man. It really is.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you learned from Mike Tomlin that still sticks with you to this day? He's obviously a guy that's got a lot of.
All the time, man. Like my biggest one is this quote that I live by and try to live by is like, um, it's not that you're like it's not that it's not that you're not willing to do something, but are you capable? Like, can you consistently do something over and over and over? And then like I say this to my players all the time. Like whenever they're trying to make excuses, I'm like, oh, you're seeking comfort. You're seeking comfort. Basically, like you're trying to run away from the main issue and try to make excuses. So I use all like his little Tomlinisms all the time.
Mhm.
And like I catch myself doing it, and then like the coaches make fun of me and say, "Oh, look at little Mike T." So like, and then people think I look like him too. So it's funny.
That is funny. He does have a lot of Tomlinisms, though. He's kind of known for giving those funny answers to the media, and Paul Johnson is kind of known for that too. Do you have a favorite or funny story from Paul Johnson that sticks with you to this day?
Probably just like his bluntness and like I remember one time like he made a bet with all of us like if we won a certain I don't know what game it was. He's like, I'll buy you all cigars. He bought the whole team cigars, and we were smoking cigars after a win. But just like PJ was just like very just like blunt and like just like it was funny, but he was serious. But like he had a very like dry sense of humor, which I enjoy because I have a dry sense of humor, so I enjoyed it a lot.
Well, before we get to these quick hitters, Patrick, you got anything else?
No, that's great. I have one question just though about a run you had against Duke in '08. Do you ever go back and listen to Wes Durham's call when you were carrying those Duke players?
Oh,
Have you ever
man,
heard his call on that?
that was so long ago, but yeah, that was.
That's a
I mean,
great
that's what.
Wes Durham. One of the best Wes Durham calls he ever had was, I don't know if you know the run I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Whenever you,
yeah.
yeah.
I think like crazy part, like plays before that, like my contact popped out of my eye, so like it was like hanging on my visor, and like that's the only reason why I came out of the game, and like I came out and like PJ's like looking for me, he's like, "Where's Dwyer?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm putting my contact in, like I had to clean it off, obviously, and like like then it was like 4th and 1, and I was like, I'm ready to go. He's like, took you long enough, and then like he's like, go get this first down. I was like, all right, so I go in there. And I made this run. I just feel like people like I'm just trying to make the first down and just just trying to keep my legs running. Just going back to like little things my dad taught me when I was a kid, and run your feet on contact, and you never know what could happen. And all I remember honestly was just the roar at the end. Like I don't remember anything else. Like everything else got kind of quiet, and then I just heard a roar at the end once I got the first down.
That's insane.
That was a
And
great
then
run.
Wes is a good friend of mine, and Wes gave me the nickname Diesel. And and all those good things. So yeah, Wes is my guy.
There's a lot of them that stick out, honestly. I mean, you had so many plays at Georgia Tech that so many fans remember for all the right reasons. And we're going to test your memory a little bit. We're going to get into some rapid fire questions here before we finish it off. Family Feud style. Answer these questions in as few words as you possibly can. Just
all right, let's do it.
We're going to fire them off. I got 8 of them for you. All right.
All right.
Here we go. Best offensive lineman you ever ran behind at Georgia Tech?
Andrew Gardner.
Hardest stadium to play in as a visitor?
Va Tech.
Other than T Choice, a teammate you looked up to at Georgia Tech?
Probably Morgan Burnett.
Favorite win as a Yellow Jacket?
Georgia.
Best offensive player you ever saw on another team while playing at Georgia Tech?
Matt Ryan.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Favorite team to play against?
Miami.
Last 2, hardest hitter that you ever played against in college football?
Cam Chancellor.
And then who was the best trash talker on those 08-09 teams at Tech?
I can't give one answer.
That's fine. Rattle them off.
Shoot, myself. Once you piss me off, I get going. Morgan Burnett, Dominic Reese, Derek Morgan. Trying to think of who else. Cord Howard.
So everybody was running their mouth.
Yeah,
everybody was talking.
Like that. I'm trying to tell you, like that 08 spring, like before we played that year, was the most physical camp I've ever been a part of. To this day.
Wow.
Like, dude, like we were going to the ground, and like we were talking crazy to each other, and like luckily enough, like we left it there and then bring it into the locker room because it was ugly. Like there's fights, all that. Like it was fun looking back on that, but back then it was wild.
That's crazy. That's wild. But man, that's awesome. That was fun. I appreciate you answering all those. You had some good answers too. Virginia Tech, Interstate, man. Still a hard place to play today. Expecting it to only get harder with James Franklin at the helm.
Yeah,
Miami too. That's a good answer. But no, those boys, they probably talk some trash too. I can only imagine.
No, I just don't like I just like Miami because when I was getting recruited, everybody else was recruiting me as a running back. Miami offered me as a safety. So like, I felt like disrespected. So every time I played, I was trying to go off. So
they're definitely regretting that to this day. One last one before we close off, man. What do the hedges taste like?
Sweet victory.
Sweet victory, man. That's a good answer, man. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. It was a pleasure, Patrick. I know you had a good time too. Anything else before we let him go?
No, awesome. Great to catch up, JD. Thanks for coming on and hopping on with us, and hopefully go get a 10th win and come back next year. Let's go get an ACC title.
That's right. Go Jackets to hell with Georgia.
Go Jackets, man. Thanks again to Jonathan Dwyer for jumping on, and thank you all for listening to another episode of Jolly Good Fellows. We appreciate all the support so far. Let us know who you want us to have on next. We're going to be trying to get some good guests. So thank you again for all the support. We appreciate you watching, listening, viewing, subscribe, and all that good stuff. We'll see you guys again on the next episode of the Jolly Good Fellows.